Disclaimer. At Two Addicts and a Moron, we discuss personal stories of addiction with the intention of being educational, relatable, and inspirational. The views and experiences shared are those of individuals involved, are not meant to glorify or condone any illegal or harmful behavior. This content is for educational purposes only and is not intended as professional advice. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, we strongly encourage you seek help from a qualified professional or support service. Oh, all right. And we are back for another episode of Two Addicts and a Moron and Sober South by week. Been a busy week. We've been filming podcasts. We're filming multiple podcasts in a day. This is great. This is great, man.
Yeah.
And look, we got a very special guest in the house, man. Mr. Skyler Ray, everybody.
Let's go. Hey. Thanks for having me on. It's truly an honor. I appreciate it. You may not be able to see this right now, but like my feet are not touching the ground. But here I am as a man on your podcast. No, it's honestly really cool. I'm glad we got connected.
Yeah.
I just got off the flight.
I know.
And so the fact that this was lined up, it was really cool. And it was kind of like last moment.
Yo, just super duper.
It's an honor, man. I'm really excited to be a part of this. So thank you.
Well, because of the last moment, and I know how busy you are and what you're here to do, it's the pleasure and the honor is all ours, man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming on. We had a conversation about a month ago, maybe a little less than that, when we were talking about doing this, and I listened to your music. And it's good.
Thank you, man.
It's really good.
Thank you.
And I'm not just saying that because you're sitting there now. I really enjoyed it. It's very, very good. So people need to listen to you.
I appreciate it, man. It's come a long way. It truly has. Man, I couldn't rap on beat for like 18 years. But I always loved it. I knew I wanted to make music since 9 years old. I was a year late on Eminem, so I caught the Marshall Mathers LP when it dropped in 2000. And the way I felt with the music, I was like, yo, this is it. Like, you know, even if I didn't understand like all the rage and everything, but I was like, the way he made me feel, I knew I wanted to make others feel like that. And so I started doing music at 11 years old, and like, I couldn't even, no one told me. Like, I had friends, yes mans, that were like, oh, that's fire, that's dope. And I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm sure a lot of them couldn't hear it because obviously I couldn't hear it. But to be offbeat and not know it, and then I met Kayla, my other half, Kayla Mulcahy, and you know, she was the first person to tell me like, hey, like it's good, but like you're offbeat. And I was like, what do you mean? I'm in between the claps. And she's like, I don't know what that means, but I'm like, you know, and I was like, but that's how I'm on beat.
It's an
like,
industry term, between the claps.
Between
the
claps. You know, and so with that, she showed me how, and we made our first album together, Spotlight.
Okay.
And with that, you know, she would move each phrase in the beat, in the pocket. And from there, we did about 20, 30 shows with that album. And when I came back to recording, I went to lay something down. I was like, oh, that sounds off. And I'm like, oh, I'm not on beat. Hold on, let me, you know? And so I learned the difference of also being on beat. There's a difference between being on beat and riding the beat.
Yeah.
You know, so I owe a lot of it to Kayla. Since then, like, we've grown hundreds of thousands of followers, tens of millions of plays, been booked like crazy. And, you know, I owe it to her, truly. You know, it was the first person that I trusted that she was telling me, because I've had people tell me before some stuff, and I was like, oh, they're just hating. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
It's like she tells you, hey, you're a little offbeat. How dare you?
Yeah. Well, I was like, at first I was embarrassed. I automatically went to embarrassed because I was like, how I can't even do what I've always loved.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? Like, this is embarrassing. So like a little bit of anger, irritation, a little sadness. Yeah, offended. I like recoiled and like shrunk. And I was like, okay. But I also trusted her heart.
Yeah.
Right.
I was like, well, why would this girl tell me this? Like, this early on in our relationship. Like, obviously, and I respected her as an artist. So
yeah. Well, that's a big deal.
So I'm like, I know she's like, she's powerful when it comes to music.
Is up.
Yes, classically trained, studied music theory, all this different stuff, like background in opera. Like, she's the real deal. You know? And so I was like, well, maybe she knows what she's talking about. And like, sure enough, like now it's taken off, and I'm like, wow. The power of rapping on beat. So thank you so much, because I felt like I've sucked for like 20 years.
Well, you told me to stay away from the earlier stuff.
Yes,
when we
because of
spoke.
that.
You were like, "Hey, listen to the newer stuff because
Yes.
it's like so much better." But now I kind of want to go back and listen to the old stuff.
You
dude,
can,
man.
you can. If anybody's curious, I'm always trying to
Kayla's like, no, don't do it.
no. So
I fixed them.
I try to be very upfront and honest, because I want people to understand the journey,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
like people think that like either you got it or you don't, and that's kind of true, but there is a way to get there.
Right.
And so like the process. And so I try to always, because I think it's inspiring. There's people out there that maybe want to try it and they don't think they're good. And I want to let people know like you can be trash and like you can get pretty decent, you
Yeah.
know? So you could go the older stuff. I used to go by Young Schizo. So if anybody wants to look that up, you guys will see the progress. I mean, like I said, I've been making music since 11. I probably have stuff that's like 16, 17 years on a whole different profile under there. So
Wow.
you will see. You will
Okay.
see. I used to rap about stuff I wasn't living.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
guns, violence, threesomes in the back of the club, chains, all this stuff, while I'm taking a bus to school.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? If my dad would give me a bong hit before I leave out the door, because I don't got anything,
Yeah.
you know? But I'm this tough guy, pistol packing.
Yeah.
Like, you got all these ladies and drive a Lamborghini. You know?
Yeah.
But once I actually lived a real life experience,
Uh-huh.
and then I got sober and I was like, well, I don't want to rap about selling drugs no
Yeah.
more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to like glorify it, because like I've seen the wreckage
Yeah.
that is done to me, and I don't want to do that to my people.
Yeah.
So it's been a journey, but I'm very proud of where I'm at now musically, and I'm leagues above anything that I ever dreamed of talent wise. Now I actually throw on my music and I'm like, damn, that's good.
That's good.
That's
stuff.
good.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
So thank you.
So let's rewind the clock a little bit.
Yeah.
I do want to talk more about the music thing.
Of course,
I have some
of course.
questions about that. But we talked about it a little bit before, but for those who are listening, what was your DOC?
Meth.
Okay. Meth. Yeah, meth.
If it ain't the chemicals underneath the sink, I don't want it.
Yeah, attaboy. And how long have you been sober?
A little over 6 years. December 6, 2018.
Let's go, dude.
Let's
Hey,
go.
Let's go. Congrats, brother.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So did you meet her? Did you meet Kayla when you got sober?
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
glad I did, because I've wrecked everything before I got sober.
Yeah.
It's crazy because like our paths might have crossed and we didn't know it. So I got out at a halfway house. Central City Concern, shout out to them. But there's a place right next to the rescue mission downtown called the Shoreline. And that's where people go when they get out of prison if they have nowhere to go. Mind you, I was homeless when I went in, so I had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
You know, but getting out, I met her and we connected, and I ended up staying with her shortly afterwards. But it's crazy because she lived on this place on 21st downtown, right? And I used to sell dope to the neighbor 2 doors down.
Whoa.
And so I used to always park in the cul-de-sac right in front of the house she was living. And so it's like, we might have seen each other,
Yeah.
but I am so glad that our
Yeah.
crossing it path, because like I said, I wrecked everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah.
that's good, man. So talk to me a little bit about how your journey started. Like
Absolutely. The recovery journey, or-
Well, no, I want to talk about the
Okay.
journey into addiction.
Absolutely.
Let's start at the
Absolutely. A lot of it I think stems back. I think the truth is always important. I always feel bad because my mom always takes it hard, but I never blame her or never hold a grudge. So my mom and my dad split up. She packed up me and my brother. I got an older brother. He's 4 years older than me. And, things were going wrong. She deals with some mental health issues and things like that. Me and my brother were a lot like a lot of kids, fighting. I would start the crap. My brother would beat me up. I'd go cry and tattletale.
Normal stuff.
Normal
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so it was a lot for her. And one day she said she was going somewhere and she never came back. And so we're out in front of this shelter. The police come pick us up. They separate me and my brother. We go into different foster homes. And I think from there I developed abandonment issues. And, I didn't know this till I started doing step work the first time I got clean in my 20s. And every single problem stems back to this. it's the need to feel loved, the need to feel accepted, the need to feel popular, cool. What it caused me to do, which eventually led to the drugs. Don't get me wrong, I chose the drugs because I liked the drugs and I had fun. But the thing is with that is, you know, I was that kid, that class clown that would crack jokes for a laugh. And then when I see people laughing, I didn't know how to read the room when I became annoying. So I'd keep cracking jokes, had a problem with authority. Like teachers say, hey, quiet down. I'm like, shut up, cracking more jokes. Like I ain't listening. And then someone would call me out like I'm annoying or say something to me. And if I knew I could beat them up or take them, I would instigate the fight. So you know what I'm saying? I was that kid that was always down for everything. I was that kid that will do anything. I was that kid that was like, so which led me to get expelled a lot, you know, led me to try to, you know, push a little weed here and there, try to be popular, wanted to be the rapper. You know what I'm saying? I put on this whole image because I wanted to fit in and liked and be accepted. And so, you know, that caused me a lot of trouble. You know, I got out of foster care, moved my mom for a little bit, then ended up with my dad back in Portland, Oregon. And then with that, at 18, I found myself homeless. You know, and from there, it kind of got out of control. At that point, I basically tried every drug that I knew at the time, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, I did meth a few times and I enjoyed it. My older brother's drug of choice is meth. You know what I'm saying? Prayers for him. He's still out there right now, you know?
Yeah.
But that was his drug of choice. And so, you know, like I tried it a few times. I was like, oh, that's really fun. But I never really got into it. You know, and so with that, at the time I was 18, I remember when I first was homeless, we were downtown and I would be smoking and drinking there's so much homeless in Portland, Oregon. And we would go tear up the local Safeway.
Right? It's crazy, right?
Yeah, it really is. And we'd go tear up the local Safeways. Everybody would go in there like 5-10 minutes before closing, like 10-15 of us, and just double fist the 24 pack. Go back to the doorways, drink it up, things like that. And then I remember one time somebody was like, oh, I got some meth. You want to get high? And I was like, well, I've tried meth before. And I was like, we're not going to do it right here, right? Then I had standards, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not about to be out here tweaking and geeking. Like, I'm homeless. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, people are going to see me, you know? And so I remember, like, quite a bit of us went to this abandoned house over on MLK downtown Portland, Oregon. And I remember we're in there, and I remember we're smoking out of a light bulb, getting high. And for some reason, it just gripped me different. I don't know if it was the vibe of hanging out with everybody, being with your buddies. I was like, I feel like these are my friends. This is what we're doing. And it's crazy what they say about statistics, because there was like 8 of us, right? And like 3 or 4 of us afterwards wanted to go find some more. The other ones didn't do it anymore.
Right.
You know, that was like a one-time done thing.
Yeah.
But like the 3 or 4 of us went to go find some more. So now I'm homeless on meth. And we're sitting there, and I remember someone approached me one day, and they're like, would you like to sell some meth? Or sell some dope. You know what I'm saying? And I thought to myself, I'm like, yo, that sounds like the perfect idea.
Yeah.
Because for one, I could get high on my own supply. I don't have to beg. I don't have to try to boost. I don't have to do any of this stuff. And on 2, my whole friend list changed. My circle is all meth addicts now. You know what I'm saying? Not no drinkers, not no weed smokers. I'm talking meth addicts. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, so get high on my own supply, and everybody I hang out with buys dope.
And now I'm going to be popular.
You know what I'm saying? And yes, and that's why I was getting to. It fed into the abandonment issues. The power that you feel being a drug dealer is incredible. You know the love is fake. At least I did. But it still felt good.
Respect.
To be it is. The power, the respect. When you pull up on the block and you're the most important person, every guy wants to hang out with you. All the girls are flirting with you, trying to get with you. Everybody's trading you, trying to sell you their iPads and trade it in for dope that they just stole from their homeboy. You know what I'm saying? All this different things. And the power that came with it, that fed into those insecurities and abandonment issues. So I kept getting locked up, getting in jail, constantly in and out. I mean, there was times I would do 6 months, get out for 3 days, go do 9 months, get out for 6 days, go do another 9 months. I would literally last as long as it took for the warrant to go out. You're homeless. They know where to find you.
There
ain't no hiding. They would literally pull up to the block and be like, okay, we got Mr. Davis. All right, we got John. Oh, Billy, okay, no, he don't. Oh, Michael's over there. Yep, he got a warrant. And they would come over and call backup and pull up like 3-4 deep and be like, all right, Davis, get up, put your hands behind your back. They knew what time it was. You know what I'm saying? So like, I would sometimes only last like a week, and I'm grateful because I got my teeth still.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I still got my teeth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I am thankful for that, and my mind fires off pretty normal. You know.
Yeah.
So that led me through all that, but also like like we talked before going on, I don't drink because I didn't find out I was an alcoholic until I had a little bit of clean time,
Right.
And I told myself, everybody's drinking at the office. It's so socially acceptable. People are like, what do you do after like a busy week or a long week or a hard day? Like, you guys want to go grab some drinks?
Yeah.
It's normal. There, you see the Super Bowl, you see commercials, there's everywhere. So like, if you're over 21, you're not doing anything wrong. And I thought to myself, well, I could go have a drink. I had almost a year clean. I was like, I could have I'll go have a drink because I'm addicted to meth. I'm not an alcoholic.
Right.
And it turns out I am an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Boy, I can't have no drinks.
Can't do shit.
Yeah.
I can't do shit. And I know that because all my morals and principles went out the window.
Yeah.
Not only was I blacking out, not knowing how I got home, I was spending my checks $200-$300 a night, like ending up broke real fast.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? 3 days in, you're like, shit, I gotta wait till Friday to get paid again. And then it's like, I went through a breakup. The girl I was dating at the time, and we're in sales, and so there's cocaine going around the office.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I told myself, well, I can do cocaine because I'm a meth addict.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it finds out even if I could do cocaine, I couldn't afford it for very long.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so like I go broke off of cocaine. I spent everything because those abandonment issues and
Yeah.
the need to be loved. I would pull up, we'd be partying, and I would invite like 10, 15 people, and you guys want to do lines?
Yeah.
And I'm getting lines for everybody. Everybody's
Yeah.
like, oh, Skyler, you're so cool. Can I come?
Yeah.
Like, get in here.
Yeah.
Can my friend come bring him in
Yeah.
here,
Call your friends.
Yeah. And so we're doing lines. We're like, oh, we're out. And I'm like, call your guy. Here's $300. Go get a ball, whatever. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'd keep the party going, but I'd be broke overnight. Get paid Friday, and I'm broke Saturday morning rolling
Yeah.
out the house, And so I told myself, well, now I'm starting to like getting high again, but I can't afford Coke. What am I going to do? And so I was like, well, I can go get a 20 bag of some meth, and I could be up for a few days, and I don't have to share. I'll just be more greedy with my stash.
Yeah.
And so I did that, and next thing you know, that turned back into shooting dope. Horrible idea. So it all stemmed from thinking I can drink.
Yeah.
And now I don't, but it turns out I'm alcoholic. So that's where my life has led me through addiction.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's a common tale, though. I mean,
Yeah.
we hear it a lot. Is the I forget the guess, man. I hate when I do that, but he was like, "Yeah, I mean, that's cool that you can have a drink, but I have a drink, and it's gonna end with me fucking sticking a needle in my neck."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's 3 days later or a week later, but
Yeah.
that's just where it goes, right?
Absolutely.
And we hear so many tales of people that are, okay, I'm in rehab for meth or
Yeah.
coke or heroin, and I get out and it's like, I wasn't in there for booze. Like, I'm gonna go ahead and have a White Claw, have a Chardonnay, like, and then
Boom.
you're back in there,
Yeah.
with a quickness, right?
Yes.
And I know that's not the tale for everyone necessarily,
No,
but
absolutely.
it's a common theme.
And that's why I always tell people, you got to understand who you are. Take the time to learn yourself. I think that's a big thing with recovery, right?
Yeah.
You got to understand, like, if you really can't handle it, like, you need to be upfront and honest with yourself and be accountable.
Yeah.
Like, I know homeboys that used to shoot dope and now they smoke their weed and they drink, and, I don't judge nobody's recovery.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I just worry about my own. And they're like, oh, da-da-da. And I see people put him down, and I'm like, yo, but he's paying his bills. He's got his kids. He goes to work every day. He's not shooting dope. He's not homeless.
You're not robbing people.
Yeah, he's a
Fucking-
taxpayer.
Yeah.
Like, you
Right.
know what I'm saying? You might have not have known him when he was shooting dope, but like, he's doing real good. I'll tell you that right now. He's at his kids' birthdays, sports games, and I'm like, that's why it's like I tell people, don't judge people's recovery. Like, worry about your own.
Yeah.
Me personally, I can't have a drink. I would love to have a drink. I would love to do some meth.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I just can't party. I'm not.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
Factory settings don't allow it.
Yeah, factory settings and the life circumstances now, right? And
I got
you
a
were-
buddy that always says you got to find your own sober.
You have to.
Find your own sober.
Yes.
If that means that you can't do shit, you can't do shit.
Yep.
If that means you can drink a little bit,
Yeah.
drink a little bit. If that means you can smoke a little weed, smoke a little weed.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm
That's
all for that.
something like I've struggled with. I know that I'm not an alcoholic. I know that I can drink.
Yeah.
And I don't ever identify as an alcoholic. I identify as a drug addict.
Of course.
Recovered drug addict. Right? So, if it's a special event, if it's someone's wedding or a toast or some shit, I'm not going to tell them no because I know it's not going to send me out here, out there, or anything like that. I was always on meth before I went out to the club anyways.
Yeah.
I only drank because I could drink so much more on meth.
Yeah.
It never affected me.
You could do so much everything on meth.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm like fucking taking 10 shots and like, you're not fucked up yet? Not even, I don't
It's
even feel
crazy.
it.
You don't feel anything.
I don't feel shit.
You don't feel anything. If
Nothing.
anything, you just need more meth.
It's insane. Right?
So a little bit of like just my experience with it. I like to drink, right? And on occasion, I'll get hammered a little bit. It'll happen. But I'm good with that. I'll deal with it. But I remember back in the day when I was hanging out with guys who were doing coke.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I'll, give it a shot, see what's going on. And I remember instantly not liking it because it ruined my buzz. I was like, I like being kind of drunk. Yeah. And this just ruined it. Now I got to go back to the fucking starting line. Right. But there are some people that are just like, no, this is great. Like I can drink more. I can stay up longer. I was like, nah, man, I like to go to bed. Yeah. I like to.
That's, I like sleep now that I'm sober.
Yeah.
But back then it was like, how much money can I get? What's up? Like, what can I collect by the end of the night? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How many laptops? How many food stamp cards?
Nothing.
Yeah, I'm sitting there just puffing on a pack of cigarettes on the block. And it's crazy you say that because I remember during the time period that I got actually like started like hooked on meth, and that's why I said if it ain't the chemicals under the sink, I don't want it.
Yeah.
Because. I remember like I was such like a weed smoker, like always weed, like wake up in the middle of the night to go pee, I'm taking a bong hit or like a rip off the pipe. Like that was always me. I was getting stoned for everything. But once I actually like got on the meth, I remember being high and like after we left the halfway house, I went back and I remember being at the park and someone passed me the pipe and I hit it once and I was like, fuck no. I was like, no, you can have it. And I didn't do anything else. Yeah. Just meth. I was like, no, we're good.
Yeah.
I don't want to pollute my eye.
Yeah, we're good. I don't want to pollute it.
Weed always made me fucking really paranoid. It like puts me in a place where I'm not comfortable.
Yeah.
Like I'm scared. And it's like I'm on an acid trip.
Okay.
So I don't like weed. I've never liked weed.
I've experienced that. So I never had that trip. I used to think people were just crazy when they used to say that, right? And then I stopped smoking weed around like 18 because that's when I was like on the meth, you know? And then I got sober for like that year or whatever. Yeah. And when I started drinking, I smoked a couple times. And I'll tell you what, that weed is too strong nowadays. Yeah. It was different. I was paranoid. I was scared. I was like in my house. I thought I kept hearing like, people that were like in my recovery circle knocking on the door and stuff. I'm like putting pipes away and I'm like looking out the door. No one's there. I'm like opening the door. And I was like, yo, I'm super paranoid. Like I'm so scared right now.
It was
never experienced that before.
It was always terrible for me. Like weed was always terrible. I would do it all the time as, youngster, teenager, all the way up. And I started to realize that I was only doing it because it was around. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. And then, so I remember probably mid-20s not the last time I smoked weed, but like, I remember there was this moment where I smoked it and I was sitting there and I'll never forget it. I was watching fucking Castaway. Mm-hmm. Tom Hanks. There's like zero dialogue in the movie for like an hour, right? And I'm just like sitting there and I'm like, I hate the way that I feel right now. Yeah. And then this weird, crazy reflection happened and I was like, I never liked the way this made me feel. Like, I'm not going to do this a whole lot anymore. Like, fuck that. So I don't know. Well, I don't know what they're putting in it these days, but like every time,
it's so scary.
I'm so scared. I'm like, I want to go to bed. I'm questioning what kind of father I am. I'm like, dude, like this weird paradigm is happening.
Eat some gummies. What's happening?
Yeah, like, dude, I just smoked a little weed. It's like, you're a bad father. And I'm like, I'm not a bad father. I'm not a bad father. I swear to God, I'm not. But yeah, dude, it's fucking wild.
I feel like the weed I felt like it was stronger than meth the last time I tried it. Because you guys ever done dabs?
Yeah, it made me lose my meth high. Yeah, that's how strong it was. Man. Like we went to a club and this dancer was like, hey, you want to go smoke with me? And I'm never going to say no to smoking with a dancer. Of course I'll go smoke with you. Yeah. But I always used to know, like, I'm not going to get lucky with you if I smoke weed with you because it's going to be so uncomfortable. I'm going to fuck this whole thing up for me, right? And of course I did. She came back to the house. We smoked. She's like, all right, I got to go. And I'm just sitting in my kitchen, and I'm just sitting there for like 3 hours. And my buddies call me, and I'm like, hello? And they're like, hey, where the fuck are you at? I'm like, I'm in my kitchen. Are you coming back to pick us up? I left them at the club. I forgot I even brought them there. Yeah. I'm like, did I bring y'all there? Yeah. And they, you fucking left you left with that chick and you never came back. So I had to get in my car like at 3:30 and go pick these motherfuckers up. Geez. I don't even remember bringing them there. Yeah. I was like, dude, this is terrible.
You get teleported, dude. Like
it's too much.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Remember that?
Yeah,
like where the real guy drives into Toontown. It's like that's what weed is. Like you're going into Toontown. Like it's like little terrible. Birds, and I'm like,
It is crazy. I remember I was off a few margaritas, and my buddy is always doing dabs, and he's like, "You want to come back to the house and do a dab with me?"
That shit's.
And I've never, mind you, I've only like smoked once or twice, and it was too strong since I was like 18. I was 24, 25, whatever, right?
So dabs.
And I was like, "Yeah, what is it?" And he's like, "Oh, it's like 90% or whatever." And I was like, "All right, well, let me get a hit," you know. So he served me up, and it's funny because I called the Uber beforehand. I was like, "Yeah, let me get it. I'll go do an Uber, and I'll do this hit." So I do a hit. And I'm like, dude, I'm like cooked. And he's like, you want one more? And I don't know why I said yes. Definitely the addict in me. Yeah. Like Maddox, like, hell yeah. You know what I mean? And I'm already not operatable. You know what I'm saying? My body doesn't work. And I remember being there and I did one more hit and I was so gone. Like I've never been this high off of meth. I've never been like, I was so cooked. I remember the Uber was texting me, the girl dating at the time. She's like, are you coming home? I couldn't get into my phone. I didn't know my password. Yeah. And I'm sitting there and like the Uber's like I'm out front. And bro, my buddy literally had to hold my arm and walk me down the stairs. I get in the car of this Uber and he's taking me literally from a place in Portland to another place in Portland.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't know where I'm at. I felt like it took forever. And I'm looking at road signs saying like Salem, Eugene. I'm like, that's an hour south. What is happening? You know? And I'm paranoid and I'm looking at my phone. Like I finally get into it and I see like surge prices. And I was like, oh, he's running up this Uber ride. And I was like, yo, bro, where are we going? And he's like, where the address you put in. And I'm like, okay. I was like, my house. And he's like, this address. And I'm like, dude, I don't know like what my address is. Yeah. This makes no sense. And he's like, do you not live here? And I was like, I don't know. Like, what address did I give you? And he's like, this. I'm like, why are we in Salem? He's like, we're not. We're like in Portland on Division. And he pulls over and he's showing me the street signs because I'm tripping. You know what I'm saying? He must have noticed. So he's like, show me the street signs. He's like, look, Division. You live on Division. I was like, bro, I could read the sign, but that makes no sense to me what Division is. I was like,
that poor guy.
I don't get it. Like, bro, he pulled over like 2-3 times to show me street signs, to show me this, because I'm tripping. I'm like, at the time I had a song with like Bizarre from D12 and like another rapper, and I was like, you know Eminem? And he's like, yeah, I've heard of Eminem. I was like, you know Bizarre, the fat one with the shower cap from D12. I was like, that's my buddy, man. I was like, I'm doing music. I was like, please don't kidnap me. I was like, get me home, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we'll stay in touch. If I blow up, bro, I got you. And I'm making all these empty promises because I'm just trying to make sure I don't get kidnapped. You know what I'm saying? I'm so scared. Like, I'm literally blocks from the house and I don't recognize anything. I'm like, I don't know what Burnside means. I'm like, what is that? He's like, it's right over there. I was like, I don't get it. You know? So that is why, like, I would never. It's just too strong. I've never been that messed up off of dope.
Yeah.
You know, even like the biggest shots I've ever done has never wrecked me like a shot of dabs or a hit of dab.
Yeah.
Oh, too much.
Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about your recovery, man. Like, what? Yeah. How did the recovery process go for you?
You know, it's crazy. I didn't get into recovery to be in recovery.
Yeah.
I thought it was corny. I thought it was cliche. I didn't want to be like those people. Damn sure as hell wasn't going to a meeting. I'll tell you that. That was pushed on me, and that was a punishment. You don't go to a meeting, you go to jail.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, that don't sound like no fun. Why? It's like a chore or a punishment. Why would I do that for fun, right? But I was sitting there on my prison bunk, and I'm having a conversation with myself, and it's just me in there, right? So there's no need to show up. There's no need not to be honest. And I started playing the tape forward, and I started thinking, You know, I stayed sober the whole time I was in there, or clean and sober the whole time I was in there, just because this was my first time doing some real time. Like I did like 9 months, 6 months, a year, whatever, right? And I thought to myself, I stayed out of trouble because I would qualify for like 3 months trans leave, like 4 months good time. And I was like, yo, I'm not going to mess up this 6, 7 months. Like I'm staying out of trouble. I had gate clearance. So it was like why everybody else in the van was like drinking the booze from the homeless camps or, you know, I had people that would find like rigs full of stuff and do shots, whatever. Like you're in prison, there's drugs. You know what I'm saying? But like all I did was smoke my tobacco because I was a write-up and you get put on the bunk. That was nothing. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm in there and I asked myself, I'm talking to myself and I was like, what do I want to do with my life? You know, I'm 27. I'm going to get out 2 days after my 28th birthday. And I thought to myself, what do I want to do? And that was a quick question. The answer came so fast. Music. Yeah. All I ever wanted. It was the only light that's ever shined in the darkness. Without a doubt, I've never doubted what I want to do since 9 years old. And so I'm sitting there and I thought to myself, well, what's my best chances of making it with music? And I thought to myself, it has to be something I've never done. I've never done music sober. You know what I'm saying? I've never done it, you know, not under the influence. Even at 13 years old, all that stuff, I was drinking and smoking and getting brought to the side of the clubs to perform and things like that. And so it was like, that's my best chance. So I told myself, if I'm going to do it, there's no half-ass in it. I have to be all the way in, you know, because I know I can't just drink or can't whatever. Like there's no like, okay, I'm going to do this sober. And then on the weekend, I'm going to go have a drink or go get high. And so like, that's what got me into music. So my logo, I do have the We to Recover brand, everything like that. But like my logo is a microphone with wings because it reflects back to that conversation in prison. And the reason for that, it's kind of like my Batman symbol, if that makes sense, right? Because, you know, I got clean and sober and made that promise to myself for the hopes of living music, doing music and making these dreams happen. And so I got clean and sober for music, but nowadays I stay clean and sober because of the life that recovery has provided. I refuse to give up. You know what I'm saying? So if it wasn't for music, I may have never found recovery.
Right.
And therefore, it's a microphone with wings because it's my guardian angel. It literally saved my life.
Right.
And so that's how my recovery journey started. You know, after you get out and you're moving and grooving out there and you're like, oh, shit's actually working. Like, I'm being successful. I'm finding cool stuff. Like, I like the stuff I have in my life. I'm not, like, in jeopardy of losing anything.
Right.
It's just going up and up and up. And it's like, well, what's the difference?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not on drugs.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
You know?
Let me ask you this. So, because
yeah.
when two things, the other thing is whenever you get to go that clean and recovered way.
Yeah.
For me, someone asked me, like, what's the best feeling about that now? And I said, I don't have to look over my shoulder anymore.
Yes.
Right? I don't have to worry about what I did to this person, or I don't have to remember what lie I just told you because I'm going to have to tell it to you again. But you had always done music being high.
Yes.
Were you scared to do music being sober? And did you think that you could do music being sober? Because whenever I got sober, I'm in sales too.
Okay.
And I had always sold being high.
Yeah.
I like if I didn't have a sale, I'm gonna sip a little GHB or go smoke some meth in the bathroom, and I'll come back and then the sales would pop. And like, that's all it takes.
You feeling good, confident.
I just need some dope in me.
Yeah.
But whenever I went to rehab, I literally questioned that when I get out, am I still gonna be able to sell?
Yeah.
Or am I gonna have to find a different career? Right. And it was scary.
Yeah.
And it was something where I had to really reflect. And the first few months were real hard because I didn't have that same meth gives you a lot of fucking
firing
energy.
off. Yeah.
It didn't. So did you have that with music? Were you scared that, man, I might not be able to do this?
You know, I was never scared that I wouldn't be able to do this because I love music so much. It's my passion. It's all I wanted. So I would make it work. But my fear the first time performing sober, I was 28 years old. And I realized I have stage fright.
Yeah.
I have never felt that. Like, I've been uncomfortable, but I wasn't able to identify it. You know what I'm saying? Because you're like, oh, I'm a little nervous. Like, do I know my songs? And I'm like, oh, I'm just drinking and partying. It didn't matter. Like, I mess up. Like, I got everybody with me. We're bobbing. We're rapping. It didn't matter. You know what I'm saying? But I got up there sober, like, not under the influence all whatsoever. And I was up there and I was like, this is scary shit.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking stomach twisted, knees shaky, scared. You know what I'm saying? Sweaty, afraid. I can't even think. And it still happens to me. Like when we stop tour and I go back on tour, the first few shows are terrifying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you had a few months off. Once you've rocked 20, 30 shows in like a month, you're like, okay, I know my shit. Let's go. Throw it on.
Let's go.
But, when I first knew into recovery and got up there, terrified, so scared. And, I was like, I have stage fright. I'm nervous. Like, I can't even remember a line of my song. There'd be times I'd write down, like, because I was like, well, maybe if I just know, like, the first, like, how the verse starts, I'm sure it'll just click. And I remember I'd write, like, the first line or the first couple words of, like, a verse on my song and trying to, like, break it. And then I realized that that's never going to go away.
Yeah.
That's never going to go away. I'm always going to be afraid. I'm afraid because I care.
Yeah.
Like, I get booked for keynote speaking. I do speaking and fly around, things like that, right? And I go up there. I don't rehearse. I don't write anything down. It don't matter how many people there. And I get great feedback and I feel good about it. Like I literally go off the top about anything.
Right.
Speaking, right? Because like I'm just telling you about my life. I know my life. You know what I'm saying? Right. But when it comes to music, that is my real everything. And so when I get up there, I actually want people to like me. I actually care about if they think I'm dope. You know what I'm saying? And so like it is so nerve-wracking. I get so scared. There's times like we always start tour out at this middle school. And because they make you feel like the Beatles.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you go up there, they're throwing shoes up there, they want signed and cases. Like I have videos of like rushing the crowd, like you gotta tell, hey, calm down, because the Travis Scott thing happened. But it gets insane with these kids and they're absolutely in love. They want arms, everything signed, and like I always hop off stage, so I run through the crowd and like they'll touch you and they're like, you know what I'm saying? These kids, because they think you're like some famous person, But I always start there. But even when I start, there's times I'm behind the curtain. I'm like, Kayla, can we skip this song or can we do this? And I'm literally just shaking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but I just got done speaking and that was easy. But when I go behind to push play on the music, I'm like scared. I'm like, can we skip this? She's like, just do it, babe.
Yeah, it makes sense, man. That makes all the sense in the world, though, dude. Like,
scary,
I mean,
bro.
Well, it's great you have her in your corner too.
She gives me all my confidence.
Yeah.
I remember we're rocking arena, Spokane Arena opened up for Kevin Gates, and I'm up there and I forgot my words. And when you're scared and nervous, like it's crazy because that was actually, believe it or not, that was the first time I hopped on stage and I had no nerves and I was like, let's go. And that music hit and I was turned up. That was one of the first shows I never went through like the scaredness of going on stage. And it's crazy because it's arena, right?
Yeah.
But it felt like I was meant to do that. And then I forget my words and I'm out of breath because I'm a runner around stage. Well, this stage is 3-4 times bigger than what I'm used to, So I'm like gassed. I'm like, and I go to take a breath and I was like, wait, where am I at on the song? And even though it only took like a second or two, like I only missed like a line and a half.
Yeah.
I'm looking around, I'm looking at people. I'm like, oh my God, they think I suck. And I'm looking over there. I'm like, oh, they definitely hit me. And I'm looking over there like, oh God.
Yeah.
And I look across and here comes Kayla like coming at me and she's mouthing my words. And I'm like, oh, that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I could see
awesome.
it. And so she gives me the confidence because I know at the end of the day, I can go up there and I could totally just shit the bed.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, they're going to be like, yo, she could sing, right?
Yeah.
And Homeboy had a cool story. He's pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? He's authentic, Yeah. And so, like, at the end of the day, no matter how bad I do, as long as she's with me, I know there's a 50-50 chance they loved it and we're getting booked again.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Hey, man, that's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But I think stage fright is natural. If you don't have stage fright and you're up in front of a big group of people or a crowd of people and you don't get nervous, probably something wrong with you, right?
And maybe you don't want it or you don't care enough about it.
Or you're not prepared or something. No,
for sure.
Or maybe you think you didn't, and you'll get over it in a minute because you did put in the work. You did prepare. You did all that stuff. But there's that fleeting moment where if you don't have some butterflies in your stomach or a knot in there,
I'm so scared. I'm scared, like literally shaking and sweaty, and I feel like I got to use the bathroom.
Yeah.
And, but one thing that helps, seriously, and that truly helps is knowing that I put the work in. I prepared. So I tell myself, because I still get up there sometimes and I can't remember how a song starts or what a line is, and I get it in my head and I'm looking around. And I'm like, man, I just want people to like think I'm dope. You know what I'm saying? And I tell myself, Skyler, you put in the work. You literally ran through this song 20 times on the way here and knew every single word. You know your shit.
Yeah.
When the music plays, you just got to trust yourself, because when that music comes on, I'm on like 95% of the time. Like I'm getting it. Like I'm actually proud of the shows I do. I'm like, fuck, bro, I tore that shit up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like, and the next day I'll be nervous, and I'm like, bro, just I got to remind myself to calm down. I get that you're scared. This will never disappear. You're always going to be afraid. That's because your dreams are so big, they're scary.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But remember, you did prepare for this.
Yeah.
Trust yourself, even if you can't remember a lyric, even if you can't remember how it goes. Trust yourself. You put in the work.
Such is life.
Yeah.
Such is life, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So
Thank you.
Now let's break down the music a little bit. I'm always curious with musicians.
Yeah.
And a couple weeks ago, somebody you've worked with, I Am Creechy.
I love him.
Yeah. He's
shout out to Creechy.
Like, he's become a really good friend and a friend of the podcast.
That's
and a friend
dope.
of ours, just personally. But who are your musical influence? So hold on a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
You're wearing an Eminem hat, so I can't. I got to have you eliminate that.
Yeah, okay.
All right,
Okay,
that's
I got
very.
you.
So I want you to talk a little bit about your musical influences. As far as,
of course, if you don't put Eminem aside, that's the obvious.
yeah.
I would say in order, I would say, after Eminem, I loved Lil Wayne.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? When I was a teenager, I'm 34 now, so we're talking back in the mixtape days and everything like that. Carter 2, Carter 3, things like that. But here's the thing: is, I love lyrics. And like Lil Wayne made me laugh out loud, and he was so clever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I also dig like the T.I., the Young Jeezy. Young Jeezy wanted me to sell dope before I even sold dope. Like I listened to it and I was thugging.
Yeah.
In my head, I'm like, hell yeah, we trapping.
Yeah.
I remember my old ad lib I used to always do it back in the Schizo days was you know what I'm saying? It was such a copycat, but that was always my thing. It was just like more lazy and white.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that was what I did. But I'll tell you what. So one of my favorite artists right now it's been for years, is Kevin Gates. Absolutely love Kevin Gates. I feel good when I listen to Kevin Gates. Like there's something about his voice and everything. I love that he could rap, he could do melodies,
he can sing, he can do a lot of
everything,
shit.
Right?
Yeah.
And so like Kevin Gates is like Eminem's of course my all-time high. He'll never be, no one will be above him, right?
Yeah.
But Kevin Gates is definitely my favorite rapper and has been for the last, I don't know, since like 25, so almost 10 years. You know what I'm saying? A little bit before Out the Mud and Two Phones, a little bit before that. You know what I'm saying? And I was catching on right when it was blowing up. But I'll tell you,
a.m.
for all that stuff, all that.
I was listening. I have about 700 of his songs.
I love Kevin Gates.
I've got every song he's probably ever been a part of.
We're always slumping Gates because of me. I'm like, Gates.
I listen to songs like I turn when people tell me they like Kevin Gates. I'm like, let me let you hear this. And like, I've never heard this.
Yeah,
and it's because it's from so far back.
So far back.
But I was listening to him in like 2012, 2013.
That's
when,
about,
like when he was selling his own mixtapes. That's when I was listening to him.
Yeah.
And his music especially went through my addiction.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Every song was my, like, fuck.
Even my drinking
we
stages.
could be best friends. Like, he understands what I'm going
Perfect
through.
imperfection, all that stuff. Drinking, and you know what I'm saying? I remember how many times I've walked and just with some Four Locos and blacked out listening to them, and I wake up, I don't know where I'm at. It's like 2:30. I got to be in a suit network in like 3 hours. Like, what's happening, you know?
And then when I would watch his interviews and how, like, how smart he is.
Yeah.
Like, he is a philosopher.
He is.
And the way that he can articulate and the way that he can talk and how educated he is.
Yeah.
Like, it's on the outside looking in, you would think, he's just a rapper. He's he's not any of those things.
Yeah.
But when you hear him talk and you hear how he understands life, it's like, holy shit, this dude is on a different level.
I'm a huge Kevin Gates fan. That's why like Open Up for him was like a dream come true.
I bet.
But I will tell you, when it comes to music, there's some things I try to do that like on the Kevin Gates thing, not necessarily like the topics, but like certain vibes, or I'll try to put things together, but it never works out.
Yeah.
I listen to it, I'm like, but also because I know I was trying to create it like Kevin Gates. So when I hear it, I'm like, that's trash. We're scrapping this, you know?
Yeah.
But I would say big time musical influences, and which I do really like this artist is Macklemore.
Yeah.
Because his epic songs, like me and her always try to create that. Those songs that like are just so timeless.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, that's so realistic, what I think I could create. Get a little bit more confidence in my flow, get this. Like, because he always has like a singer on it.
Yeah.
And that's what Kayla is. And I was like, yo, I really think we could make some Macklemore hits. And that's what we've been trying to do.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of Macklemore that I try to emulate because I think that's realistic and it's very much fitting to who I am as a person. So that's definitely a big musical inspiration. But like favorite artists like Kevin Gates, hands down.
Yeah.
You know, so I just can't really emulate it too much.
Yeah, well, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, I mean, you. Part of what makes anything that you're doing in art, I feel like, is like the authenticity.
Yes,
it bleeds through.
It does.
We talked about this with Creechy one time, but it was like he brought it up, but it was like, you know, that song "Once I Was 7 years old." Yeah,
love that song.
I mean, like, but how can you not? Because you feel like that dude is like,
you feel it in your soul.
He felt what he was saying, right? And it's authenticity in any song. I don't care what genre you're listening to, whether it's country or blues or if it's them, and it's just like let me just open my vein right here and just show you.
My favorite song, Lily Mayona, I can never say her name. Mayola is called Daydream.
Okay.
And it's a song about dreams, right? And it's like, that's where I always say it, like if your dreams aren't big enough, or if your dreams don't scare you, they're probably not big enough. I always say that because that's like a line in the song. But I am telling you, I have cried to that song so many times. See, I get them up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think about it, but like that song's so real, and I love that song, bro. And I sing it. It's a girl singing, but like, man, it's about dreams and like, don't let them pass you by. And I'm so big about dreams and recovery. That is my thing. Is like you have to dream. You have to be who you're meant to be.
Right.
You get one life, and it's like you have to go there and you have to reach it. So that song, man, I'm telling you that I love it. That's my favorite song of all time, and I will sing it just my heart out, way off key.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, man.
It plays. I'm dancing.
Yeah,
you know, Daydream. Yeah. Go check it out, man.
Daydream.
It's fly.
All right.
I love it.
I'm gonna check it out. I've never heard of it.
Oh my god, the whole
Destiny's
thing.
probably heard of it. Destiny sends me all kinds of crazy songs and fucking like some of her songs are fucking great, and I've never even heard of them. I don't know how she finds some of them, but she's younger than me, so that's probably how.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great song. The whole song is about, you know, getting too old, like astronauts. You like pretend to play with rockets, all this different stuff as a kid. No one tells you to stop it. And then as you get older, they tell you it's unrealistic and like, stop dreaming, get that job, settle. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so like, I always tell people like, I've done meetings. I really don't do meetings. You know, I'm trying to push myself more into it to try to change my perspective. But it's like, I've done step work once, you know what I'm saying? I haven't done it since. And I recommend people do that because I know it works. Go to the big book, go to meetings because it's worked for a lot of people. That is literally like, this is the path, right? Yeah. But my thing is I also like to show people that there is another way.
There's a different way.
And mine is dreams. And that's why that song hits me so hard because it's like, that's what I always tell people, like people relapse and stuff because they get bored and they settle for that job and they're trying to figure out who they are. And they just take stuff to try to like get the probation off their back. And I'm part of society. I got a job. I got my kid and I got a girlfriend. And you know what I'm saying? And it's like, that's not who they're meant to be necessarily, but it's like they settled.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And like, you know, you have to go after it. You have to remember what it was like before the drugs came in. What did you want to be? Did you want to be a fireman, a police officer? Do you like to collect shit? Are you a gamer? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Who do you want to be? I've known I want to do music since 9 years old. Yeah. And so that's part of who I am. Dream big, man.
That's awesome.
That's the amazing thing about like little kids. Like, you know, when we were little kids, like, what did you want to be? A baseball player?
Yeah. Sports players.
You wanted to fucking do whatever it didn't matter what it was.
No.
You had no limitations to what you could be.
No.
And throughout life, people tell you that's not realistic.
Yes.
You can't do that. You can't do that. And you can't. And then you start creating that own self-doubt, even as a kid. And then as you get a little bit older, it's like, well, fucking maybe that's not realistic. Maybe I fucking have to do this or do that.
Go get that job. You got to have a backup plan. You got to do this. You can't always be chasing those silly dreams.
Go to college. You won't ever make it if you be flipping burgers forever.
You know, and it's like, it's crazy because like, you got to dream. You got to dream. You got to be who you're meant to be. And And that's why it's so important. And I feel like that's what we're put on this earth to be.
Whatever you want to be.
Yeah. It's like subgenres. Like I feel like subgenres of music, right? Yeah. Like, I mean, hip hop started with hip hop, you know, like you start listening to that, and then off of that comes gangster rap, and then you all these subgenres. I feel like sobriety is a lot of the same way. Like if in some form or fashion, somebody's doing the step work most of the time, not all of the time, but most of the time. So if you do that step work, then you know. You figure it out, then create your own subgenre of your sobriety, right? And
people are doing step work without actually like writing it down or sharing stuff. Like they're internalizing it, they're realizing all their problems. And I tell people, identify your character defects. You got to figure out what you're weak at. You got to sit in the uncomfortable moment. You got to realize like, oh shit, this triggers me. This pisses me off. I can't do this. Maybe I should stay away from that, right? Because just because you have character defects don't mean they have to become your shortcomings.
Right.
And so it's like, figure out who you are. There's that saying, we're as strong as our weakest link.
Yeah.
Well, what's the weak link inside of you?
Yeah.
Identify that shit and become well-rounded.
Yeah.
So
well said.
See, I always like to identify it in other people, but not myself.
For sure. It's always easier to do that. I agree. I can point out everybody's flaws, but I'm a little...
Me and my chick just went through some problems, and she was like, well, you do this, and you do this, and you do this. And
I do not.
Like if you're in the house, I'm gonna argue with you.
Yeah.
But since you packed up and left, I'm like, now I got to sit in it, and I've got to like, she's fucking right.
Yeah.
You know. Now I had to reflect on the shit, and then I had to start opening up my character defects again, and start fucking identifying them and saying, I know that I have that problem, but then I get a little bit of recovery in me, and I get a little bit of fucking good graces and everything.
Yeah.
And I think that that's not my problem anymore.
Yeah.
But I always say if you to fix a problem, you got to identify it first.
You have to.
Right?
You have to. It's just like with a car, right? If you don't identify if it's the engine or the transmission,
Start replacing everything.
It's like how you gonna fix your shit.
Well, the bird's eye view on yourself is difficult.
Oh,
I mean, it's. I can make an argument. It's damn near impossible.
Yeah.
Unless, but bird's eye view for a friend or somebody, it's like, oh, dude, this, and this. Like, get the work,
crazy.
Dude.
You need to say you don't see why this is happening. Like, come on,
and
bro.
then you go home and you're like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Like, the bird's eye view for oneself.
And then someone points it out, you're like, it ain't that bad. It ain't like
whatever,
that.
Dude, I rap on beat. I rap on beat.
You can't say nothing.
Bro,
Kayla.
When people used to tell me, like, when I was in my addiction, and they'd be like, do you still use as much? And I'd be like, no, I've cut back. Like, I knew in my heart, like, I'm doing an 8-ball every single day.
Yeah.
But to you, I would say, no, I've slowed down a lot. Like, I don't really have that problem anymore.
Just here and there, one shot a day.
Yeah.
Not often. Just when I have it. Yeah. Not a big deal. But I'd never want to identify my own shit.
Yeah. It's hard. I come up with people always like, man, you're so smart and like you really know how to do things and like I can make so many quotes out of your sayings.
Sure.
And it's like I know I don't know all the right answers, right? Obviously, but I know a lot of the right answers and the shit you're supposed to be doing, but it's a lot harder to do it. Like I could tell you all day what you're supposed to not supposed to be doing, and like, nah, that's wrong. Don't do this. That's silly. Sure. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
But then I go ahead and do it myself.
Right.
So it's hard. It really is.
Yeah. With like Creechy was on, and he's gotten a lot more like not self-involved, but he just had a new baby.
Yes.
He's got another small child at the house. And it's like, he's like, I'm working this last year on just being present and being like in the moment with my kids and doing that. I'm kind of putting music, not on the back burner, but, and then,
there's
but you could tell there was like a little bit of him like feeling a little bad or maybe guilty about that. And I was like, brother, you're an artist.
Yeah.
Like you're a lyricist.
Yeah.
The music doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop.
It will never stop.
Yeah.
Like it might change you having a child or whatever, but it's never gonna go away, right? Like you're gonna be in the shower and it's like you're just you're gonna start doing shit in there. Hey, like
taking a shit right
now. Like here it is. Like it's so don't feel bad, man. Like you're still writing right now.
Yeah,
100%. You're still putting it in. It's just it's all gonna come later. Just make sure you're keeping it organized, right?
I agree.
And so I mean, I would make the argument for someone like yourself or Kayla or anybody else. It's like you're never gonna stop. You're never. It's never gonna end. It's just
it's a part of you.
It really is. It truly is. Especially music. It's always gonna be a part of me. That's I would do music for free for the rest of my life. I'm just lucky now I'm getting paid to make a living out of it.
Sure.
I'm grateful because I do this shit for free. Don't tell no one. Cut that out. But no, it's like...
We got a good editor.
Yeah, my man. But that's how much I love making music. That's why I'm just so grateful. I'm like, oh, you want to pay me and I don't got to do anything else?
Yeah.
You just want me to rap? Okay. But no, it's the same thing with like any problems. I truly believe being in prison changed my life. Because I wasn't drinking, I wasn't using any drugs. So it gave me basically 2 years of recovery before I even started. So I did restart my clean date when I got out because I had a drink, which I can talk about in a second. But it's like, being in there the whole time, I thought about it. Like, I feel like I'm a good person. I have a big heart. I cry during commercials. I want to see people win. Yeah. Like I cry when people win money on game shows.
Dude, me too.
Because I know they have like kids or family. Like I'm such a big emotional, sobby crier, right? Yeah. I see Kayla killing it. Like on album release, I'm bawling on stage. Like I bawled at shows for like 5 minutes, getting Kleenex, snot coming out. Like in the middle of shows, like they're just at treatment center. People are just looking at me. Somebody asked me a question about my life, and I answered, and I broke down. Like that's who I am. You know what I'm saying? I'm a crybaby. Like I'm very emotional.
Yeah.
And so it's like with that, it's like it gave me a chance to reflect in jail. Mm-hmm. And I thought about all the mean shit I used to do. I used to pick on people, and I would pick on my friends or point out their insecurities for a cheap laugh to strangers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is my homeboy, and I'm like making fun of his shoes or making fun of this just by these 3 random people that happen to be sitting in the room. I don't even know them. They were gone 10 minutes later.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm buddying back up to him. But it's like, I was such a bully. I was mean. I wasn't faithful in relationships. I treated people like dog shit. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, that affected me because that's not who I am. It was all an act. It was all to try to like attention. You know what I'm saying? And so sitting there in my own recovery while I was in there, I was like, yo, that's not who you are. Why you do this? And it gave me a chance to really reflect and get my neurons back to firing off in the right place with no drugs involved, anything like that. And so that helped me. You know what I'm saying? It shaped me to who I am. It made me, I believe I was one of the few, like, I want to say few, but people that rehabilitated in prison. Mm-hmm. Like, I thought about my actions. I was like, this is not what I want. I want to be a good person.
Well, any situation is going to be what you make it.
That's true.
I mean,
no, 100%.
It just is what it is. There's a silver lining in absolutely everything, I believe.
Yeah.
I believe.
And perspective is huge.
Yeah, I mean, that's just it. Yeah. Is it's what are you going to use that bit as? Right?
I use it as fuel.
And that's
fuel.
And look at you now, dude. Yeah. You're coming to Austin. You're touring
all
all over the place.
I forgot I was in Austin. I'm so comfortable right now. You just said that and tripped me out. I was like, oh yeah, I'm in Texas.
Wait, I'm in Portland?
I feel like I'm just kicking it with homeboys.
I did a dab again. I did a dab again.
Yeah, no. Where are we at?
Well, that also speaks to how comfortable you are too.
Yeah.
Like, even right when you walked in, like you would think that we've known each other for fucking a minute.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
And you sat down. Like, I love the way that you are.
Thank you.
Like, I can't say like who my favorite guest that we've ever had. It's not fair.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, I can already tell this is going to be one of my favorite episodes that we've ever done.
Let's go.
Because the energy and the love that you bring, like you're easy to fuck with.
Thank you, man.
And I can see, like, I've listened to some of your songs.
Yeah.
I'd love to come watch you perform because I guarantee you bring that same energy.
Yeah.
And that's you're somebody that people gravitate to.
Thank you, man.
And you're somebody that people need to hear your story.
Yeah.
Because there's other Skyler Rays out there that don't know that they can be Skyler Ray.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? And when they hear somebody like you, that's why it's so important, in my opinion, when we get recovered, that we don't just fucking run off into the sunset and fucking just leave that life behind.
Yes.
We leave that life behind, but we still tell our story so we can tell other people, hey, this was me.
Yeah.
And this is how bad it was for me. And I was able to get through it. I promise you can too.
That's
because
what it's about.
That's all. That's what God put us here for.
Absolutely.
It wasn't so we can prosper and fucking run off. You can't do life by yourself.
No,
obviously.
no,
we weren't meant to do this by ourselves.
Yeah.
We're meant to fucking do this together. It takes a village. My
It does.
homegirl always
It
says
does.
it takes a village.
It does.
And that, one of my favorite quotes that I always say is like, God didn't pull me out of the fire so I could run off. He pulled me out of the fire because he knew the person that I am. I'm going to go back in the fire and start pulling other motherfuckers
yes,
out. Like, come with me, come with me, come with me. And that's the type of person that you are, and I've only known you for an hour.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. It means a lot. No. It means a lot, and I'm glad.
And you got a down-ass chick, I can tell that.
Bro, she is a superstar. If you think I'm talented, like, she is next level, and she's so kind-hearted, so good, and she dares me to dream, and she lets me know, take that leap, even if you're scared, because if you fail, I'm right here to catch you.
Attaboy.
And so it's important.
It's your biggest fan.
It is. I'm her
sure
biggest
her
fan.
Yeah,
100%. And I'm glad. I'm happy that you say that because, that's what I try to walk in as. Basically, like, I try to always be myself. I try to always be authentic and as clear as possible because, it's not about necessarily where I'm at, but it's to show people that it's possible for them to make that journey as well.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, we do our Road to Recovery tour. Last year, we hit 86 stops around the country. It's a tour we started ourselves.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? We get into treatment centers, these rehabs, these jails, these prisons, and I go in there and I speak and we perform music. But and I'm that's why I told you, man, if you want to look it up, Young Skeezo, you'll see garbage, boy. But I keep everything because it's like it shows you that you just don't have to be like naturally talented or the best. If there's a will, there's a way, and I like to be able to show people the progress. Like, look how many times like I put myself back in the fire, knocked myself down. Like, I did that shit to myself. But look, I came up and against all odds, I made something happen. And I think that's very important because a lot of people doubt themselves. A lot of people believe these lies that they tell themselves. Because for so long, people were like, you're a scumbag. And we're like, huh? I'm doing scumbag shit. Best believe I am, homeboy. You know what I'm saying? Sure. And then it's like, okay, but you could flip the narrative and you could change your perspective. And that's why I told you all that doubt, all that. And like I said, when I walk into a room of artists, like, I'm confident at home. That's why I love that you guys do it here.
Yeah.
Because I record everything at home. That's where I feel like I have my chest out and I'm like, I'm dope.
Yeah.
But when I get into like a studio
yeah.
and there's like other artists, I'm like, oh, he's good. Oh, goddamn, he's good. And I get up there and I feel so little and I have no confidence. And I'm like, can I get that again? Let me, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I lose all confidence. But it's like I use that stuff as fuel.
Yeah.
I have to. You know what I'm saying? The drug addict, the person that wasn't going to make it, the kid that couldn't rap on beat for 18, 19 years. Literally, almost 2 decades couldn't rap on beat.
Yeah.
Look at me now. Yeah. I could proudly throw some shit on and be like, that go.
Yeah.
That go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's me.
Yeah.
I call those cookie jar memories.
Yeah.
Right? It's like those things. I always say, like, especially when you get in recovery.
Yeah.
The smallest little accomplishments that you get, if it's your 30-day chip, fucking wear that shit on you. That's a big fucking deal, right? Getting your first sponsee, wear that shit. That's a big deal. And you store all those little cookie jar memories away. So on those days where the doubt creeps in, you can go back and say, man, I remember when I felt this way before and I overcame that shit.
Yeah.
I remember when I was on stage before and I fucking got nervous and fucking forgot but I got through that shit.
Yes.
Right? I remember this. And you can just pull out of those cookie jar memories and say, I've done this before. I've been here.
Trust yourself.
I've done this.
Yes.
This ain't shit.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to get through this one too.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, my chick's still going to love me.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. I got me a little 30, 34, 35. She might be 36. She been eating. Not her. No. My English bulldog. 35, 36 pounds. I got a beautiful English bulldog named Pound Cake. We call her Cakes for short. But she goes by Mama. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? She a little snaggletooth beauty. Oh, I love her to death. And I got my lady. So, like, at the end of the day, all else could fail. And it's like, I'm a happy man. You know? I'm a happy man. And, like, I'm telling you, when Kayla was growing up and she had her hairbrush wanting to be Mariah Carey, singing, having these music dreams. I was in front of that mirror thinking I was Eminem.
Yeah.
So it just makes sense.
Yeah,
you know
dude.
what I'm saying? And Kayla's just as crazy as I am. I'm like, so there's this thing happening. And she's like, okay, like, what's the details? And I'm like, well, we really can't afford it. It's a lot. Like, I don't think it's going to work out. And she's like, let's do it. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, hell yeah, I want to do it. Like, that's why I brought it up so softly, hoping I can buy you in, And but of course, like the logical side is like, I don't know. We should just we're just gonna do it.
Yeah,
it's okay. And I'm like, well, we're probably gonna lose all our money. It's not gonna work out. And she's like, who cares?
Fuck it.
Who cares? This is what we're doing. This is our dreams. And I'm like, this is dope because I've been in relationships before.
Oh yeah,
that it was like I was saving up and I was like, I'm gonna get this feature. Like this guy's only gonna charge me $1,000 or $500. And then like I share that with the girl I was dating at the time. She's like, oh, I thought we were getting a new couch this weekend. I thought we were saving up for a house. And I'm like, okay. She's like, you just got a feature like a couple months ago. I'm like, yeah, but this guy. She's like, yeah, but like, don't you think we need that couch? And I'm like, all right. So I love her a lot. She teaches me to dream. And it's gonna be okay.
It is gonna be okay, brother.
It will.
Yeah, I can tell. You're gonna be just fucking fine, bro.
Thank you, man.
And I am beyond honored that you came on here, and I want you to tell our cameras and our world how they find you.
Yeah, so my name is Skyler Ray.
And what you have going on.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah. So my name is Skyler Ray, not Skyler Gray. It is spelled Skylerray. I always say that because everybody puts the A in Skyler.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so Skyler Ray. You can find me every music platform. I don't have a SoundCloud, but I have every other platform. Apple, all that stuff like that. Pandora, you'll find me on there. But also check out the amazing Kayla Mulcahy, K-A-L-A, there's no Y. So K-A-L-A, and then Mulcahy is M-U-L-C-A-H-Y. Okay, and I have to throw that out there because she's my other half. Yeah. And everywhere I go, I rep so hard for her. So check us out, every single streaming music platform. What we got going on is the Road to Recovery Tour. Might be coming to a city to you right now. I think we got about 14, 15 states in right now. I know we're going to be in Texas probably about 2 or 3 more times this year.
Please let us know.
So come out, come see us. Find me on Skyler Ray. The page will be verified. You guys will see me. I will be posting content and tour schedule. And if you guys are going through anything, please reach out. I answer every single message. I get flooded about 100 messages a day, but I promise you I always go through them. And if a couple of days pass where I don't answer, please send me another one so you're back at the top. It don't matter if you just want to talk. If you're going through anything, it's absolutely safe zone. Nothing you say in my messages will ever be repeated without your permission. And just come flex on me with your sober accomplishments. Let's get it.
Yeah. And I'll speak on that because before I met you, I reached out to you.
Hey.
And you didn't know that I was part of this yet, right?
No,
I just reached out to you and said, hey, man, I can't wait to meet you this weekend.
Yeah.
And you were like, is it for the podcast? And I was like, yeah. And you was like, fuck yeah. And then you added me. We followed each other. So, and you reached out. I did that like at 11:30 at night. Yeah. And you messaged me back the same night.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So. That's what it's about. I understand. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for my recovery, my other half. But like, you got to understand, this is a 9-year-old kid living his dreams. And that's why I tell everybody, I owe it to that 9-year-old boy to live his dreams or at least give it his best chance.
Oh, yeah.
And so I am so lucky to have the platform I have, to have the success that I have. And I understand it's because of the community and it's because of my people. I don't like the term fans. I like friends.
Yeah.
But because of my friends, they lift me up. The recovery community and the music community gave me a career. Mm-hmm. And I will never forget that. I was that kid at Rapped Off Beat for 18 years. I will never forget that, and I will have time for anybody. You see me at shows, whatever, I take pictures, I sign it, it's whatever. I'm hanging out in the crowds. That's who I am, and that's who I forever want to be. We don't really do green rooms. I'd rather be out there, meet people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because for so long, for decades, no one came to my shows. No one cared. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I got out making music at 28 years old. Mm-hmm. Like no one, I had 43,000 plays. I had a 18-year career. And now I got tens of millions of plays and all this stuff like that. So please reach out. I'm always there. I will answer any single message. I love you guys. Thank you for everything.
Brother.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Of course.
Thank you for coming on, and good luck with everything. And You're signing the wall for sure.
Yeah.
We're getting an autograph from you, 100%. But I extend this to everybody who comes on and sits in that chair. Once you sit in that chair, you're family.
Let's go.
And if you ever need us for anything,
thank you.
Give us a call. We'll come running, and that door is going to always be open to you. That chair is always going to be open to you anytime you're in town, brother.
Yeah. I'll definitely be back. I think I'm in the middle of working Dallas, Austin, Houston. Might have another one in Houston as well. So I really might be out here 3 to 5 times this year. Well, so let's go. You know what I'm saying? So I'll definitely stop back by.
Let us know. And if you stop back by, more than welcome to sit in the chair back there. If you want.
Yeah, I'm down for
I'd prefer you to be sitting right there, though,
I would love
buddy.
to be right here. This is a cool opportunity.
So please keep us posted when you're in town. Really want to see both of you perform.
Yes, please.
And and we would love the Mob Deep.
Yeah.
All the way to those shows.
That would be incredible. I would absolutely love that. And the extension goes to you guys. If you guys ever need anything, always make sure you reach out. I don't care if you got a call. I don't care if you got a text. Like, I'm here. This is what it's for. I'm a lucky person, and I like to be able to help out. So
absolutely.
Well, we got the number, man. We know how to find each other.
Let's
now.
go, baby.
So just with that, get on to your South by stuff and have a good time. Get some rest. Take a nap. You guys just got off a plane.
We'll nap tonight.
Yeah,
we'll nap tonight.
There you go.
We in the town, bro.
Sleep enough when we die.
Yes, that is one thing. When we pop up for like recovery events, I like to meet the community. I like to stop in the treatment centers. We like to speak to people because like people don't have to bring us out to places.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? That's cool ass artist shit. You know what I'm saying? You let me do cool ass artist shit. Like, what you need me for?
Yeah.
Let me meet your people.
Yeah,
you know?
dude.
So,
for sure.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so
for
much.
coming by, brother. And 2 Addicts and a Moron, man.
Let's go, baby.
We're out.
Oh, I just put it together.
Yeah.
I was looking for the other host.
Yeah.
I'm the other addict. Let's go. I was like, moron addict. I was like, I wonder if he's an addict. I'm like, that would make sense. He's the other addict. It's me.